Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Noor, Sunday Times best-selling author, coach, entrepreneur and mummy. And talking about mummy duties, you may notice I am shaking a little bit. I have a little man in my arms. I have tried to put him down, but he's having none of it. And I was dedicated to coming and bringing you this episode on my YouTube channel / podcast. And so here I am doing a kind of a shaky because he's right here in my arms just falling asleep. And anyways, welcome back to my channel. I'm really excited to bring you this episode because I had this idea yesterday about what I wanted to cover today on this segment. And it's all around this concept of inverse paranoia. And it's something that I learned back in 2015 from one of my incredible mentors who really helped me shift my perspective on how I did things in life. You see, for most of my life up until that point, I had believed that life was difficult, challenging, that people were against me, out to get me, that things would go wrong all the time. I believed I had like a birthday curse, things like that. And I really felt like the world was against me. So guess what I was attracting in my life? More of things going wrong and the world being against me. And when I particularly started to see things in a different way back in 2015 and started to understand this whole kind of concept of being an inverse paranoid. So, by definition of paranoia, it's this kind of constant worry that people are, or things or whatever, are against you, and you are always sort of on edge and anxious about what people are saying, what people are doing and things like that. But if we were to flip paranoia on its head, and instead of being worried that people were out to get us or things were going to go wrong, what if we could flip it and say, well, actually everything is out for us. Everything is out and happening to help us, to support us. And it's really interesting because this concept of inverse paranoia, I utilize in many different ways, and it's very closely linked to this kind of this notion of being really grateful for stuff, even when the thing that you are faced with is actually a pretty shitty thing. For example, back in 2015, and this was really the dark night of my soul, should I say. I had a really difficult time baby waking up. I had a really difficult time at the back end of 2015 in my life. There was a few things going off that really, really knocked me down. One of those things at that time was finding out that my youngest of all my brothers, who is my dad's son, my dad remarried, he was 8 years old at the time, and he got diagnosed with leukemia. And he'd had it for quite a while and kept getting misdiagnosed. And when they finally diagnosed it, it got to a stage where it was in a pretty deadly position. And it was terrifying. And I felt terrified for my dad. The thought of losing a child for anybody is just the most horrific thought ever. And I just, it was just a horrible, horrible day. But I remember I was in Hawaii at the time that I found out. And that day we had planned to go to a waterfall, and my husband had said, do you want to go or should we cancel? I said, no, let's go. I think being out in nature will be good for me. There's nothing I can really do right now. And I was swimming in this waterfall, and I remember just saying underneath my breath multiple times, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful, I'm so grateful. And you know what? My brother came through just in the most amazing way, and was in full remission within 6 months. And, that's a whole different story. But the point being is that even in the darkest times, I started to learn this way of seeing things as though, look, even though this bad thing is happening, it's happening to help me, to help my dad, to help my family, etc. So I use that in all situations, and on a much lesser scale than finding out someone has cancer. And the reason that I felt inspired to do this episode was yesterday, Richard dropped the girls off at school. I was at home, and I planned to do all this stuff in the morning when Rich got back, and then he was going to go to the gym and he was going to do stuff, and we had this whole day planned out. And he calls me at about 8:10 and says, I've tried to get in the car, but it's stuck on park and something's gone doodally. Anyway, Cut a long story short, 4 hours later, finally breakdown assistance has gone there. The car's been towed to Land Rover garage, who say they're so booked up, they're not going to even be able to assess the car till next week. There's no courtesy cars available, yada, 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 okay? And ordinarily, both Rich and I would, years ago, have got stressed out, pissed off, like, oh my God, da, da, da. And both of us having really, I think, practiced this art over the years, and and Rich didn't learn this from anybody but me, from my practicing of it. And I think one of the best ways that we can teach others is through inspiration, not instruction. And even though I'm a very chilled out person when it comes to dealing with stuff, and a lot of people, because I'm such a high vibe, high energy person, and as a child I was very dramatic, and as a teenager I was very dramatic, a lot of people find it very difficult to believe how calm I am. And Rich is really laid back, so they find it really difficult to believe that he would get stressed out about stuff. And it's so funny because actually people's perceptions of us based on our personalities are so wrong. Like, I have to tell Rich, chill your beans, a lot more than I think he's ever had to tell me. And so anyways, cut a long story short again, because it was starting to get long again. Both of us, I said to him today, I said, this has happened for a fucking good reason. The car is not in our hands at the moment because, this has happened for a good reason. Maybe, we'd got in the car this weekend and something had happened, or we'd been in an accident or something. Like, the universe has done this for a reason. There's a reason why the car did not start. There's a reason why we can't have it this weekend, etc. And I talk about perspective shifts in my book, You Only Live Once. If you haven't already got yourself a copy, go get yourself a copy. But I talk about this massively because our whole life, the outcomes in our life, are completely a reflection of our attitudes and the meanings that we give to situations. And if I had, or Rich and I had both chosen to be stressed out, angry, pissed off, we're not going to have a car, what we're going to do, it also shuts off our ability to think of creative solutions that could help us in that situation, because we're so fixated on everything going wrong or whatever. And like, the reality is that the more that we could stay tuned into Universe FM, the likeliness is that, on Monday, Range Rover rings us and says, it was a weird technical fault, we've rebooted the car and everything's perfect, not going to cost you anything, blah, blah, blah. But if we stay in this state of, we're pissed off, we're angry, can't believe this has happened, what we're going to do, we're only going to repel a really great outcome happening to us anyway. So there's really no benefit from allowing ourselves to drop out of a good frequency, even when faced with an annoyance and a challenge. Like, we're super blessed and lucky that really today, Richard's mum's off work. They live across the road. She's kindly lent my husband her car so he can go take the girls to school and pick them up. So we're lucky. Okay, there was one solution that was presented to us. The reality is that in life, we cannot control things happening. We cannot control certain things happening to us. However, what we can always control and we can always have power over is our reaction, our attitude, our perspective. As you can see, I've got my arms free because he's now laying across my lap. I had to rejig him, trying to film a YouTube video / record a podcast episode with a 5-week-old in tow definitely proves to be a challenge, but one I'm willing to take. So no one can take away our ability to deal with a situation the way that we want to. No one can take away that power from us. And it's funny because, I get a lot of people ask me this question, like, how do I deal with XYZ, affecting my vibration? And I'm like, well, actually, you're allowing that thing to affect your vibration by giving that thing your power, giving that person, that situation, whatever, your power. And people, we underestimate the power that we have to not allow that stuff to happen. It takes practice, it takes time, it's a skill. But the more that you practice being grateful for situations, the more that you practice this, this is happening for me, this is happening to help me, I might not know what the outcome is right now, but this is going to move me forward in some way, help me grow in some way. And so, you know, I really hope that you take this on board as you move through your week, your month, your year, through 2022, and start to really practice this. You know, when something happens, it's out of your control, makes you feel annoyed, maybe stresses you out, makes you upset, like, say to yourself, this is happening for me. I'm so grateful this is happening to teach me something. And it was funny because I had another conversation the other day with a friend of mine who has had a bit of a difficult time in her business with a particular person, a troll, who was just gunning for her. And, you know, I said to her, you know, what is a good thing that's come out of this? She said, oh, well, the good thing that's come out of this is it's actually made me realise I need to put some really amazing reviews out on this platform and this platform because I've been relying on this. And I said, look, so this person that's come in, riled you up, triggered you, caused you distress, is actually giving you a really valuable lesson that's going to help you in the long run, help your business grow. So send them love, send them gratitude. I do not believe that people and situations just happen in your life for no apparent reason. I really truly believe that we attract it and the universe orchestrates it in order for our soul to grow on this planet and for us to become better individuals, as long as we choose to see it in that way. And once again, no one can take that choice away from you. So I hope that you've liked this episode. If you have, drop a little thumbs up down there or leave a review on my podcast if you're listening to this on my podcast. Subscribe to my channel, my podcast and my YouTube channel, depending on what you prefer to do. Watch my face or listen to me on the go. Either way, I'm here for you. And as always, I love to get little DMs on the old gram, Instagram. Let me know if you've enjoyed this episode. Has it helped you? Has it given you an aha moment for moving forward? I hope it has, and I'll be back very soon with another episode. Take care and goodbye.